I got some ideas, I got some pals, let's get together and pitch some games. Moving on, let's get to Custom Robo. And this is a series that I haven't played that much myself, but I know that you have, Shay.
Yep, I have the one for GameCube. I don't know if there was really any before that, were there?
There was actually the series started on the Nintendo 64, but here's some fun facts about Custom Robo. It started in Japan in 1999 on the Nintendo 64. There was 3 versions of it. Actually, no, there was a sequel for it called Custom Robo V2, and then there was a Game Boy Advance game, the Nintendo GameCube one, which came to America, the first one to come over here, and there's a DS one. And this game has been dormant since 2006 when that DS game came out. So it's definitely time for a new game to come out. But the funny fact that I want to tell you is, so the first game came out in 1999. The last game to come out over here was 2006. And also in 2006, China received the first game for the Nintendo 64. Or it says here IQ Player, which I don't know what that is. I assume it's some kind of... Oh yeah, I clicked on this link here, and it's basically probably a pirated version of the Nintendo 64. This controller looks super weird. Yeah. Okay, I'll learn more about that now. I don't want to get distracted. But yeah, so it's been a long time since that studio has really worked on anything.
I feel like Custom Robo. There was a game that Rare did, Jet Force Gemini. A lot of the weapons in Custom Robo are from that. There's quite a few guns that are crossed over from that Jet Force Gemini to this.
Well, that makes sense. Rare used to be very big on Nintendo, and now it's Microsoft stuff. But well, the thing I played a little bit of the DS one. This is what the footage is as you're watching right now, guys, and I liked it. I like the idea of it, of basically having to really grate this down to its very smallest bits, and to be blunt, it's basically Pokemon, but like with robots. So you carry like this cube, and this is your robot, and then you throw it out, and it expands, and then you fight your robot against another person's robot in a small little battle arena, and it's basically just school kids, and you're just fighting your little robots for whatever. And I feel like something that also the Pokemon series can improve on is it's aimed at a very specific audience. That it's very kidified, and there's nothing too serious about it. There's nothing really at stake. On the point of Nintendo, though, they at least try to do something. Did you finish the GameCube one, or was there really a big story to it?
Pretty close to the end. I was gearing up for the final fight, and you ended up fighting this syndicate that wanted to use the custom robos to take over the world and stuff.
Oh, funny. Okay, well,
pretty generic stuff. I mean, as far as those kinds of games go, it kind of, to me, it felt like it was in the same vein as Mega Man EXE.
Yeah, the Battle Network games.
Right.
Because in that series, the first game, there's a bunch of hackers that were trying to infect the internet with these Mega Man robot things, and they're causing fires all over the place and stuff on your stove. And I mean, it's an easy to write. I mean, they can probably turn that stuff on rather quick. I mean, what else would you do with I mean, you could just do it where Pokemon, where the main line is you trying to get to the tournament, and you could just do something with a new game where maybe there is no story. Maybe you're just basically trying to go through more like a Pokemon Stadium, where you are just doing battles and improving your character and stuff like that.
That probably would be a lot better than Custom Robo.
Because I feel there's some things that work without story, and I feel like sometimes if you give it a story, it bogs it down. Because if there's... I mean, just in this DS thing, I just skip a lot of dialogue. I mean, at least Pokemon, the small scenes are very short, and you can skip the dialogue if you want to very fast. But some of these scenes dragged on, and I've watched some other stuff, and just some of this, it's like, let me get to the battles, because they were fun. They were pretty cool. I mean, they weren't the greatest, but the idea of having a pocket robot and basically making it fight another robot is pretty cool. And like the customization is a neat idea, and it's something that Nintendo, if they really give it their all, and they really give this team a lot of support, and they perhaps maybe spruce it up and not make it so. I hate using random words like kidified and stuff like that, but maybe they should.
Go on.
Maybe they should do it like. I know you talked about this some other time when alone when we were discussing, but maybe like a front mission or an armored core, like an armored core version of this game, where that game essentially is an arena where you're fighting robots and you can customize your stuff, but maybe just make it cell shaded and stuff, and just more spastic and super colorful, and maybe make it more like a teen instead of just straight up Saturday morning cartoon for kids.
Right. I think what Custom Robo really lacked from was I don't think they knew how to spend the money that they got to make the game. I don't think they spent their money correctly. They should have.
Do you think they wasted a little bit too much on story?
Well, yes, they definitely wasted a little too much on story because graphics-wise, the one for GameCube had like 64 graphics, and I feel like the GameCube engine was very underutilized for a lot of their games. And I mean, they pretty much used the GameCube engine in the Wii. I mean, it was pretty much the exact same graphics engine. And I mean, you had games like Custom Robo, and then then like when Zelda came out for the GameCube, it like blew you away with how great everything looked.
Well, that was at the end of the generation. That was
right.
That was what, 2006 or 7. That's when the Wii launched. So it was around that time. So
it was one of the last games.
The last games for each console are just top in line. People have been designing this thing for a long time, and but even the other Zelda, Wind Waker, I mean, that looked fantastic. And there's a lot
very beautiful games.
There's a lot of GameCube games that look really, really good. Like even something smaller, like the Crystal Chronicles games. I thought those had a very nice design to them as well.
They were very, very great.
But I mean, there's just some stuff where they just don't care about graphics, or it's
I think Custom Robo really could have helped if they would have just polished it a little more.
Probably. And I mean, this was the first game to come over here, so perhaps they just didn't know.
Right, it was kind of a test run, really.
Yeah, and actually, I mean, I looked it up again, and I just wanted to make sure, when you said it looks like a 64 game, I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't a port, and it's not a port, which I think would have been funny if it was a port.
So I think for Custom Robo, if they ever try to redo it, or they try to add something different, pretty much just scrap any story idea. Like, the only story idea you should have is what drives you to want to play the game.
They could do something that a lot of series do when they want to reboot a thing. They just call it a different name and make it a spiritual successor to this game. Because I mean, Custom Robo is kind of a dumb name. I mean, it's basically saying what it is. You're customizing robots,
right?
And I guess it's also very generic. Because when you say Custom Robo, that might be saying, I guess I'm just making a robot. I don't know. I don't know what they could call it, Robo Battler or Robo Bopocalypse.
Custom Robo Fight?
Even that doesn't Robo? That sound less like very cookie cutter, like name?
I
don't know.
Call it Pocket Robot Battle System Go?
You said pocket, and I just wanted to be like, I thought you were going to say pussy. Pocket Custom Pussy. Which is a whole other segment, having Nintendo get into porn. But yeah, I think we gave the developers Noise and Nintendo some very good ideas, or something along the lines of an idea. But let's move on.
Boom, ba-jack, boom, boom, ba-jack, boom, ba-jack, boom, boom, ba-jack, boom, ba-jack, boom, boom, ba-jack, boom, ba-jack, boom, boom, subscribe, boom, ba-jack, boom, boom, ba-jack, boom, ba-jack, boom, boom, ba-jack, boom, ba-jack, boom, boom, ba-jack, boom, ba-jack, boom, boom, subscribe.